So, anyways, I've started this podcast. You want to be on it?
Sure.
Good, because you're already on it. Hello to Catchy Chatter.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, I pretty much, I've made it a thing. This is the third episode. I've made it a thing where
hmm
I just candid, like, just as we get the conversation started, open with that.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was like, oh god, okay, we're going. Let me just I 3, 2, silent 1.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I just thought it'd be funny. It catches people off guard a little bit. I probably
Yeah.
imagine, but it's funny.
No, it is funny. I do enjoy it.
Also, I will say I really enjoy uh I really enjoy the little reactive PNG that you have. So cute. Your
Oh, thank you.
character's adorable.
Yeah, it's like a little tester PNG. I've been joining live streams with friends more often on Twitch. And so I made a little like tester PNG character, and I'm thinking about possibly building that into like a little PNG tuber
Oh,
and maybe
nice.
streaming some games soon. I just, one, don't know what games I want to stream. Two, don't know if I want to. So
You
it's
know
kind
what?
of a
That's
bounce between it.
fair.
I've heard a lot of people say like, "Oh, you should," because they find my commentary on things enjoyable. So I was like, I might. I don't know. We'll see.
I'd say start with games that are like comfortable for you to just sit there. The stuff that you would, even without an audience, would probably just
hmm
start bantering at.
Yeah, I believe that is my game plan. I just gotta get things set up and figure out what I want to do first.
Yeah, so anyways, hello everyone. This is cami-cat,
Hello.
and Cami, why don't you introduce yourself?
So I am cami-cat, cami-cat on YouTube, cami-cat doodles on my Instagram and my TikTok, and cami-cat tweets on Twitter. I have a couple of other socials, but those are like my primary ones that I'm on the most. And I make music mainly revolving around tabletop campaigns, both private and public, and they are it is both original and cover music. I'm usually a lot better at that. I don't know why I struggled getting all that out.
Oh no, you're fine. But
Okay.
yeah, so another person I have met from the nerdcore community that you do a lot of like D&D or like otherwise kind of inspired stuff. You make music that gives off the vibe of a bard,
Yes,
I would say.
primarily, yeah. It's my main thing because I really like evoking emotion, whether or not that's haha teehee funny laughing emotion or that's I want to make you cry. It kind of varies.
Oh, yeah, I feel that. Like Firecracker, for instance, is like something that always it never fails to get me to want to dance.
Yeah, that one was a really just a fun idea based around my roommate's character. She's a rogue and she just is super duper quick, very lethal, but also down to have a good time if everything's set up right. So I was just like, I want to capture that little
Yeah,
emotion, that vibe of a character who is so quick to run, but also so quick to join in on on fun things.
yeah. I have definitely seen a lot of the emotion just captured in some of your performances live. Has been nice,
Yeah.
especially the sad stuff that you're on stage with Chi Chi, if I
Oh
remember correctly.
yeah. I have a
Forget exactly the
song
song.
that yeah, I have a song that I've done that I did with Chi Chi, and then there's also like a flipped version where I do the verses I didn't sing with Chi Chi, and then I sing that with Kathy. It's that song is based on two characters from Critical Role, Laudna and Imogen, and they're from Campaign 3. And the song's called Quiet because both of those characters have the equivalent of like the voices in my head. The voices! And they both just kind of quiet each other's lives. And I wanted to capture that kind of feeling of bringing someone that calmness and that silence.
Yeah, you do a very good job at
Thank
evoking
you.
emotion, I
Thank you
have to
so
say.
much.
So,
Yeah.
uh, first off, I do want to ask, like,
Mhm.
what got you started into doing music?
So, when I first started making any kind of music, I actually started with covers. I did a lot of Vocaloid covers in my time, and those are still on my channel. Lord help me. But yeah, I have those that still exist on there, and I kind of deviated from there into lyrical adaptations. I did a couple of different verses of songs that were in video game soundtracks. You know when you hear like the soundtrack of a video game, but it doesn't have any
Yeah,
lyrics. It's just there to invoke the emotion in that moment.
yeah,
Yeah, so I took soundtracks, particularly from Undertale, that I really, really enjoyed, and I added lyrics on top of them. Not necessarily to make more music, but because when I first did it, I was listening to the soundtracks in my head when I was swimming varsity in college, and I needed to keep track of how many laps I did, but you can't do that with just the music. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make up some lyrics so that way I can remember how long it's
yeah.
been. And so
See, that's so fun, actually.
yeah, and people really enjoyed those, so I kept doing them. I did some more covers. I'd played around a little bit with original music for like making soundtracks for my first tabletop game I ever did. It was a World of Darkness campaign, and I made like a couple of tracks that I think are still floating around on SoundCloud. But I made those just for funsies. I didn't know what I was doing, but it helped me a lot by taking those and building on top of it to start creating some of my own original music. And
Yeah,
it kind of just spiraled in from there.
that's fun. That's been quite a journey.
Oh yeah, I mean I've been on YouTube since 2010, so I've been there for
Yeah.
a little bit.
So, cami-cats.
Yes.
From one kitty to a cat, how'd you get your name? How'd that start out?
So the first part of it is actually just part of my middle name, and then cat. Actually, I like cats more than anything. And then my last name, actually, the core parts of it literally mean happy cat.
Oh, that is adorable.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And so I just took both of them, smacked them together, and I was like, ta-da!
So, one second, I need to drink some water.
Yeah, you're all good. Get that hydration. Hydration is important.
So, what sort of stuff are you into? Just like in general.
Okay, that's a very broad. That's very broad. I don't know
Yes,
where I'm going
very
with that.
broad. Like
Hmm.
I knew you're at least into like D&D fantasy type stuff,
Yeah.
and of course video games, just based off of like what you make music about. But
Yeah.
like outside of that, and outside of like just chatting at cons, uh,
Yeah. I really like drawing. It's been a minute since I've had the chance to draw. I've been in a bit of a creative burnout. But a lot of the videos that I make also have my artwork in it if I have like the inspiration for it.
all right.
So yeah. Oh, sorry?
Oh, sorry. I was like, all right. Sorry.
Yeah, like a lot of my artwork just it it's the same thing of like evoking that emotion. I love, in particular, just drawing expressions on characters' faces, whether that's like hurt or happy or mad or sad. Um, I really like capturing those. What I've been doing recently, not as often as I would like to, just because my weekends have been starting to fill up more and more often. But on weekends when I can, I've been doing what I call hobbit hikes, and I will just go find a hiking trail that's near me, put on my headphones, turn on the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, and just start walking. Just kind of let my brain wander.
You know what? That sounds fun. I like how you call it Hobbit hike.
Yeah, just it helps me want to do it more because I need to be a little bit more active, and turning it into something that I actually want to do, or something that I know I can get myself to start enjoying, makes it a lot easier to go forth and do it.
Yeah, I I feel kind of similarly. Uh,
Mhm.
like it's definitely hell. It's also just definitely easier for me when I go for walks and stuff if I'm trying to get my partner involved.
Yeah. I don't like that's the thing. I don't really like doing other things with people. I think it's also just cuz or if I'm trying to like do something where I'm trying to let my brain shut off, if I'm doing it with somebody, I'm going to be constantly thinking about what they want to think, what they want to talk about, or like, am I talking enough? Am I not talking enough? Like, what is the thought process behind
You
this?
know, but
Unless I'm like really comfortable with somebody. So if I'm just trying to like let my brain shut off, or if I'm just trying to go out and do something, I'm like, okay, nobody contact me.
yeah, you know what?
I will
That's fair.
return.
That's fair. I have a bit of trouble shutting my brain off sometimes. So instead, I try and distract myself with other things. That way, I'm not like,
Hmm.
that way I don't fixate too much on something, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I have a hard time turning my brain off in particular. Just because I also deal with a lot of I I don't think it has anything to do with it, but like have a little bit of like residual just overthinking from my old job because I used to work in the news, and so my brain always had to be on.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I'm kind of working myself out of that constantly overthinking stage.
Oh, no. I can imagine just how hectic news would be. Just any sort of live broadcast career in general, there's
Hmm.
always stuff going on the dime at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of combined into I overthink things all the time, but if someone like if I'm going to do like a live performance and they're like, "Hey, you need to be on in like 15 minutes." I'm like, "Wow, that's so much time." Like, I got all the time in the world. That's amazing. And then like 5 minutes until they're on, I'm like, "Great, I still got time. I can go run to the bathroom right now if I wanted to." Like, super speedy.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be, oh, you're on at the same time as you are for this other thing.
Mhm.
I've seen that happen with a couple of people earlier this year.
Oh,
Where,
really?
yeah, for example, like BomoCon having the concerts scheduled at the same time.
Yeah, that was not the best thing in the world. I think um that I wish that that was organized a little bit better, because I do know a couple people who had to like speed race to multiple different things going on at exactly the same time, and it just caused a lot more. Or if they're gonna do that, make sure that the venues are fairly close to each other, so
Yeah,
if someone has to run, they
so
don't have to run far.
I do imagine it was more or less the mix up in the programming itself
Probably.
prior, but like,
I don't claim to know anything of all the
yeah,
back end stuff on that. Everyone who does set that up, like, praises to them, because that's got to be a mess and a half to
yeah, I
try and
just
circle that all back together.
I think that was actually just like an oops. We realized this too late and couldn't
Ah,
fix it. moment.
That makes sense. It does make sense. And I think, if anything, when that stuff does happen, I just sit there and I'm like, well, I hope this is more of like just a learning lesson than anything. Of like, let's
Yeah,
double check on those in particular for next year, just in case. Like, I don't hold that against like people. I
yeah.
don't really like hold that against people or venues or like events or anything like that.
Same stuff happens. Like,
Exactly.
so here, 1 second, another drink of water.
Yep. No worries.
Right, I completely blinked on the thing I was about to say before I took my sip of water.
Oh,
Gosh
oh
darn it.
no.
Like I said, shit happens.
Yep. The train of thought is a fickle thing.
So, actually, out of curiosity, uh, because I know you do a lot of sort of D&D inspired stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, what's it like? What's your experience with D&D been like? You know?
I adore D&D for its storytelling and character development. Like I like the fact that it's a collaborative story and that sometimes not even the dungeon master really knows how things are going to go because at the end of the day, actions are really just roll of the dice. So it's a really fun thriller for everyone to kind of hold on to for a long time because campaigns take a while. Scheduling conflicts are no joke. Um, but getting those really long form stories and creating bonds, like creating those character bonds, creating the story, and just seeing how it ends up is just such a cool thing to me. And I absolutely love it. I will say though, I have yet to actually play in person.
Oh,
I yeah, I started my first game digitally just because everyone who wanted to play was in different parts of the like country, so we were all just like, okay, we're getting on Discord, and I never really had a close enough group of folks to play an in-person game with.
you know what? That's fair. It's definitely a struggle sometimes to find people to like plan out a campaign with.
Especially if you're doing like a long form one. It's I've just found that like what I like about the digital games is that putting on the soundtrack, getting getting the quote unquote the table set up, and I also play with DMs who more often than not are also artists. So during like certain moments in the game or certain events, they'll actually like pull up artwork that they've drawn or had like commissioned for a specific moment in the game, and
Nice.
you feel like you're in a movie in that moment. And you're just like, what is happening? This is
Yeah,
amazing.
that's actually pretty fucking cool.
Mm-hmm. So I will say the caveats of it is that I adore watching actual plays because I love seeing the body language of characters. So I think that's one thing that I would love to be able to experience in real time is seeing people in character, like really getting into the moment, both in their voice work and in their body, like in their body language.
Yeah, I feel that too. I've had a couple of like I tried getting into a couple of campaigns here and there
Yeah.
that sort of flop as they do.
Mm.
Uh, but there's this one thing. It's not D&D per se.
Hmm.
It's actually called Demon the Descent,
Oh,
which
okay. I don't think I've heard of that one.
are you familiar with Vampire the Masquerade?
Yes.
All right, it's same universe. Uh,
Oh, gotcha.
so yeah, yeah, pretty much same universe. Uh, in this particular universe, however, God is referred to as the God Machine, aka GM, if you will. And
Ha!
uh, pretty much angels, demons, and maybe, in like little question marks, God is part of a biomechanical construct, right?
Gotcha.
Demons are biomechanical, angels are, and stuff like that. And
Yes.
uh, it's very much similar concept to vampire. There's shenanigans going on. You can't. You're not supposed to get found out. Uh,
Gotcha.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so far, I've been doing that online, and it's pretty fun. But
Yeah, there are plenty of tabletops out there that aren't like D&D that are also super duper fun fun to play. There we go. Um like I personally, my first tabletop was a World of Darkness homebrew campaign. So it wasn't even a module or anything. It was literally just here's the story and this is the mechanics we're using to play. And I was like, okay. And the most recent one, I have to look it up just to make sure I'm getting the right name for it because I want to sing its praises. Um, yeah, so there's a game, I think it's getting kickstarted right now called Stone Top. And it's a very human game is what I would say, because you're playing as a human. There is magic, but it's not like everybody's got magic. Magic's actually like this very dangerous thing.
yeah,
It's very rare for anyone to be able to perform magic, and so they have like aspects of fantasy in it, but you're not like overpowered fantasy. You're facing those fantastical aspects as a human and like learning how to deal with it. And I think that that's a very cool thing, being able to approach these kind of things in a very human way.
yeah.
That might just be the bard in me, but
I mean, honestly, the idea of like being human and like not having experience with magic, going
Mhm.
from that and having to uh acknowledge and uh perceive it and like work around it,
Mhm.
it definitely is. I am so bad with words. It sounds very interesting. Like,
Yeah. It's very cool to try to combine those two worlds together, or like be able to kind of feel like you're dipping your toe into something that could possibly exist, but it's not quite out there.
yeah, like uh trying to think of what a good term would be. Something akin to like urban fantasy, where like there's stuff supernatural going on, but like not always like it's just normal people, and then it'd be
Yeah.
like something not like super fantastical, but like strange doings in the night.
Yeah, and it's like you're trying to figure out how to deal with that with the power that you do have. And I think that's a very cool thing. Though I will say Stone Top isn't necessarily urban. It's still like
Yeah,
there's not a lot of like high technology kind of things in there. Um but it's still sort of like that human aspect of dealing with the supernatural or dealing with the things around you that you don't quite understand. Which I as somebody who likes to I studied tech communications in college, and I also took a teaching like course, a collegiate teaching course in high school. I like learning about new things and understanding how to learn them. I've learned how to learn things quickly so that I can learn more things. Is the best way that I can put it.
yeah. honestly, similarly enough, I do just a lot of dipping my toes into stuff.
Yeah.
I will say I should probably be medicated at some point because my ADHD has gone insane.
Oh,
Because
gotcha.
I have picked up several different instruments,
Ooh.
dozens of games,
Mm-hmm.
uh, in various other rabbit holes that, like, I like what it does for my brain. I like I like the amount of thinking I have to do for it
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. But then
Yeah.
also I'm just like, I need something else. Or, ooh,
Yeah.
what's this shiny new thing?
Yeah. What is your favorite instrument?
All right, so my favorite instrument back when I was in high school, I was in orchestra for a year, and
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to play double bass, and uh, it's part of the only reason I actually have an electric bass. I'm gonna be real,
Oh, gotcha.
because if I since I learned double bass and had guitar classes previously, I figured it's translatable enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, double bass is fun. I really liked playing jig music, like Swallowtail.
Yeah.
Swallowtail Jig was my jam in high school on double
Nice.
bass. I've learned piano, but I struggle more with the coordination for piano than other things.
That is so fair. I feel like piano is difficult to learn, but once you do, it opens the window for so many different things. But that also just might be me because I use a digital instrumentation system. Like I use a Urla. I don't remember. I think it's. I know the acronym is DAW, but I don't remember what the actual. Oh,
It,
digital audio work
yeah, digital audio
place.
workstation.
The workstation. Thank you. I couldn't remember the last word was, but I don't know piano. I have a very basic understanding of music, but because I have my digital like platform, I can use all these different instruments that I don't know how to play. But because it's available to me there, I would be able to learn. I would be able to do so much more, so much faster if I had learned piano.
Yeah, I piano is definitely something I if I were in the position to do, I would definitely try learning it more. Like I have a
Yeah,
keyboard, I probably could,
yeah.
but uh,
Even just basic chord progressions would be like super like to know.
yeah, I will say if I had a double bass, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you you wouldn't hear the end of it. Nobody would hear the end of it. I would actually just be recording double bass. It is my favorite instrument to play. I
Ah,
like
gotcha.
I like standing up next to this chunk of wood that is as tall as me and
Mm-hmm.
just hitting all the fun low notes.
Yeah.
The downside down words downside of double bass is that
Mm-hmm.
it's massive. It's just a massive chunk of
Gotcha.
wood. Where am I gonna put it? And then they're expensive as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's several $100 for a used one if you're lucky.
Dang. That's actually kind of wild. But like quality instruments are expensive. They really are.
Yeah,
And being able to take care and manage of them adds even more to that like price tag at the end of the day. So if people can, and like if that is their passion, I'm like, props to you. I envy you. As someone who tried to learn cello and tried to learn piano, just didn't work. I only learned a little bit of guitar, which was like the four basic chords.
Oh, I can. So I took guitar class. You
Hmm.
want to know what I can play?
What?
I can play Nirvana. They literally have a song that's two chords back and forth, and then occasionally swap to a third.
Oh dang, that's actually awesome.
There's actually a few songs. Thinking about it, I think it's "About a Girl" is like two or three chords. Uh,
Nice.
mhm, 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 mhm. Trying to remember. I can't remember. Who the fuck actually remembers the lyrics to Nirvana songs? Actually, like you know how they go, but you don't know how they go.
Mm-hmm. No, I get you.
But there's the one Nirvana song I tried to learn. Smells like Teen Spirit, but for some reason I always struggled holding my fingers in a certain position. I
Yeah, I
have
don't.
weak fingers for that. I can only really comfortably do certain chords.
Yeah, some of the chords on guitar are just insane. And I don't know how they work.
Like I feel like if I did just rhythm guitar stuff
Mm-hmm.
with like basic chords, I could get by and do a lot of stuff. I don't have the I don't have the dexterity for uh melodies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is a good way to articulate what I am trying to get at.
Yeah, no, I get you. I hear you.
So so back around to live music, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh I can't remember or not. Were you touring at some point? Or about to start touring this
There was
year?
a tester tour planned in August, but unfortunately at the very like back end of it, we had been promoting and promoting, trying to get everyone hyped for it, but then like right before Oreo actually got COVID, and
Oh
so for
shit.
the safety, yeah, for safety, we were just like, let's just pull back and try and figure out another time to do it.
Yeah, that sucks. I hope it gets worked out. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, no, I definitely. I mean, getting any kind of live music experience is something I'm trying to do. Because I don't do it enough. I definitely do, and I have several friends who tour regularly, who perform regularly, who are at much higher levels than I am. But I want to be able to kind of reach that more and more, and the best way to do that is to perform at more things. At the moment, I am trying to apply to more conventions as well and try and perform live more at those. Um, there is a convention I'm performing at in September, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, what
Yeah,
con?
it's called Another Furry Con. It's actually my first furry con that I'm ever going to go to.
Yo,
Yeah, and it's in Ontario, California.
that sounds fun.
Yeah, I'm excited because it's a fairly smaller con. I feel like I do better at like the smaller events. Like, I just don't know. I
Oh,
don't know how people do like the large event. Like the largest event
so
I've ever done was NPC when I was performing in Raleigh for like the main event last year. That was the biggest audience I've ever performed for.
oh yeah. So one convention I think you'd probably like.
Yeah.
It's a lot smaller than some of the stuff that you've done, but it's a really good con.
Yeah.
Tiny but mighty community, you know. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
MTAC in Nashville. Uh,
MTech.
yes, MTAC, Middle Tennessee Anime Con.
Gotcha.
They do they have two or three different uh setups for music that happen. They
Oh,
have
nice.
one room that's usually a bunch of different like power hour concerts
Yeah.
with featured guests.
Oh, I
Uh,
love that.
that is in like one small room, and then they have like main stage stuff that goes on as
Yeah.
well.
Oh,
And
I love that.
I would say definitely reach out to them. I feel like
I
you'd
will.
really enjoy that
I'm
con.
double checking on their site right now, and I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I saw Callan there along with like uh some other folks here and there.
Nice. Awesome.
They so one fun thing about MTAC
Mhm.
is they've regularly had punk artists like
Ooh.
nerdcore punk, their power hour. Like they have this whole thing. There's this one band called the Oitakus that
The
has
oitakus. I
yeah,
love that.
that they've appeared a few years back to back. If I
Nice.
remember correctly, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I think MTAC would be a good show for you.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into it.
And maybe Queen City Anime Con is another one. That one's in.
I do want to reapply to that one. I applied this year, but I didn't
Oh,
have a recent like performance clip. I had sent them NPC from the other year. They're like, "This is a 4-hour concert." And I was like, "I thought I linked you like the specific page," but that's on me for like I got to do more legwork on that and just have clips at the ready of my performances.
oh
Just so
yeah.
that when that does happen, I'm just like, "Here, take it."
Well,
I'm not good at getting the camera shots when I actually do things because more often than not, I forget to ask someone to film me. So I'm like, oh shit.
hi. That's what I do for cons. So
Yeah.
pretty
I
much, yeah, pretty much any con I'm at, as long as I'm able to make it, I have no issue helping you get
yeah.
footage.
I would appreciate that whenever you're at cons that I'm actually like guesting at. At the I never want to put anybody out is my biggest thing. So that's part of the reason why I forget because I'm like, dude, no, it'll be okay. And then I like think about it in hindsight and go, maybe I should have asked. Like, dang it.
Let's see. Actually, thinking about it, I have. If I remember correctly, I have the stuff from MemoCon earlier this year on my external.
Oh, gotcha.
I still need to do stuff with a bunch of the footage I've gotten. Like, I have so much. I have so much footage from just the past 3 or 4 years from
Oh, dang.
conventions. Yeah, that's one of the things I do. I'm a videographer. And one of the main things that I film for cons
Yeah.
and other events is like concerts and stuff.
Yeah. That's honestly awesome. Like the more people I try to repost as much as I can of like people getting like footage of me because I'm like, "Oh, thank God someone got it."
Yeah, I will sorry, the brain decided, hey, double check to see if you have stuff, and so
Oh, yeah, no
I
worries
have
about it
the toolkit.
immediately.
Oh
Like, you're
no,
all good.
no, no. I was just thinking, wow, I gotta do something with this, but later.
Yeah. It's like, mark it down, write it down.
Hey, hold me to this just so that I get it done. But
Okay.
I will 100% make a reel of the stuff I got of your show,
Oh my
and send it
goodness.
to you if you want.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, not a problem. It gives me something
Thank
to do.
you.
I'm always looking for stuff to do. Editing videos is fun. I can't do it for myself because I I don't know. I struggle to do stuff for myself. But if someone's like, "Hey, I need something. Can you help?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'm right on it."
God, what a vibe. I overthink things a lot when it comes to like my projects and stuff. And so there are some that I've been sitting on for quite some time because I'm like, but what if people don't like it? Or like what if it's not like the
Yeah,
quality that people expect of me now? I don't know. And so there are several projects that I have that hopefully will be done soon that I finally just put my foot down. I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I just need to get it out there in the world. I've been holding on to this way too long.
yeah, same. I have stuff currently on the burner. I'm
Hmm.
at least been putting a little bit more work into, but at the same time, it's just a struggle, you know.
Yeah, no, I totally get you.
So, do, do, do. I do want to ask, just
Yeah.
because like a lot of folks that we know are into anime and stuff. Uh,
Hmm.
and it's what I've talked about the past couple times I've done
Hmm.
this. What sort of anime, if any, are you into? And is there anything currently uh circulating that you're excited about?
Well, Freerun just got done with its first season, and I absolutely fell in love with that anime.
Uh, Free Ren, but still my beating heart. There's a
It
reason. There's a reason that show knocked Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood off of my anime list.
it's so good. I love the balance that it's able to get between the hard like magic moments of like, oh my god, like look at all these amazing effects, and just those very sweet, quiet, emotional moments and those like emotional pings that really just bring out that action even better because you know that there's like something that they're fighting for.
Yeah,
Like, oh god, I love it. And it's not a big thing. Like they've already saved the world kind of thing.
yeah.
Um
It's post world saving years, years later, and
mhm.
I. So I've said this before. I'll say it again. One of
Yeah.
the things about that show that I love is the way it illustrates time as a concept.
Mhm.
Like, your main character is an elf that just a human lifespan is a blink to her.
Mhm.
And because you follow her journey with other humans surrounding you too, you get to see the impacts and the impacts of the world around her
Mhm.
as time goes on, and you also get to see the different perspectives of things like how people deal with death and passing time.
Yeah. No, I totally get you. And one other thing that I think is important in that one is I think there's also the aspect of not everyone feels like they have enough time. So seeing a character who originally started not having any sort of sense of time suddenly being brought back to them, like brought back to
Yeah,
themselves, and back into like the moment of the now, because it's so hard for us to think about the now when there's so much going on that like affects the future. There's like all these things that like get brought up from the past, like there that affect the future, of course. Like it's people being like, oh my god, look at all these terrible things. And I think it's also me again leaning into the fact that because I worked in the news, like I saw so much bad things all the time. Everything is going awful. But being able to have something that reminds you, like to bring you back into that moment and remind you of the connections that you do have with the people around you, I think is just such a
Yeah,
rare thing that gets touched on in modern media, that I truly feel like it is just such a it's a cleanser. It's a really good cleanser.
yeah. That in of itself is just like emotionally like uh you get to this is again a character whose concept of time is skewed because they don't perceive time the same way as everyone else around them. And so they
Mm-hmm.
finally get to a point in their lives where they want to enjoy the moment, where they get to actively enjoy the moment. And they
Mm-hmm.
struggle with that at first too, because
Yeah.
it's a new concept to them. And the way they go, the way the series goes about illustrating this is it's so beautiful. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite series.
I love that one, and I also love Violet Evergarden. Like I don't return to it often. I have to be like in a certain headspace for like some of the episodes, but that show also deals with a really good aspect of like bringing yourself back into now, back into the moment, and the connections that you have that may not always be there forever, and just valuing those emotions that people make you feel,
Uh,
because they've affected your life. I think is such a beautiful thing to express, and it's not end of the world either. And I think that's a big thing of like a lot of anime, both new and old, deal with like, oh, you have this horrible like bad guy end of the world scenario, and like those are really fun stories to tell. Like those are always really fun, like eye grabbing moments. But I truly think that the best anime that deals with those kind of things start with the fact that they have characters who have meaningful connections with one another. And so when you get a whole series that focuses on that, I just get really excited.
yeah. Alright. So we're like about 45 minutes into this.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a about a good point to start winding things down for the podcast. So
Gotcha.
do you have anything anything sort of coming up maybe that you'd like to talk about?
Um, well, actually, there is a demo that is being released of a project that I've been very excited to be a part of. It's called Don't Fret. I'm not gonna go into too much detail on it because I don't want to spoil anything, but I think that it's a really cool project that people should get excited about.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how much I can and cannot say, um, but I like was part of their initial little like TV trailer, and there's like more stuff that's coming out of it. And I just think it's really cool.
Yeah,
Their demo's coming out soon.
that sounds fun. I will definitely keep tabs on that.
Yeah.
And I guess another thing before signing off, good vibes, good vibes. So what's something that has happened to you like within this year that's definitely helped? Uh, that's not how I want to phrase it. So what's something that you've experienced or are excited for that's maybe not necessarily content, just like life, like you're excited that this has definitely helped you grow I'm so bad at like articulating myself like this.
No, you're all good. You're all good. Um, in terms of things that I'm just generally excited about, there's a new Legend of Zelda game that it doesn't have to be content. I don't think I'm just gonna play it for the sake of playing it myself. Um, and it's the first game in the iterations of Legend of Zelda that you play as Zelda. Which, as a Zelda girly, I'm like, thank God, finally,
Yeah,
my girl gets some freaking like praise to her name.
yeah.
The Triforce of Wisdom, baby.
I'm excited for that too. I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom yet, but
It's so good, but it's such a time, like, you have to have a lot of time to invest in it because there's so much in the game. It
yeah.
makes Breath of the Wild feel like a demo.
Oh my god. Yeah, I've
Yeah, it's
played Breath of the
wild.
Wilds. One of my favorite things in Breath of the Wild, just
Hmm.
because I can, is title hunting.
Oh, okay. So that'll be really interesting for you to experience in Tears of the Kingdom, and I will not say why, but it's
Oh,
still definitely an interesting like moment.
like one of my favorite things to do, just in any game where there's a big monster with a lot of
Yeah,
HP and I have to fight it,
yeah.
is like sometimes it's probably too big for me to actually fight as I am. I don't
Hmm.
care. If it can bleed, it can die.
There are plenty of opportunities to do that in Tears of the Kingdom. I will say there's a lot of opportunities to do that. Are you an Elden Ring person or like a Souls person?
Um, I will say I enjoy them conceptually. I've not played much Souls-like games. Uh,
Gotcha.
aside from Code Vein, Code
Hmm.
Vein was like really spooky for me, like just
Gotcha.
stressy, and so it was hard to just sit there and do on my own.
Yeah.
But the I enjoy the games conceptually. I like watching people play.
Hmm. Oh gosh, that's another thing. The next animated season of Critical Role, Vox Machina comes out October 3rd. I'm so excited to see that because that whole storyline, like uh, I'm a big story person, like I said earlier, when it comes to like the games and stuff. So when I got hooked on Critical Role, it now has me by like the claws and it will not let go. And I love it so much. So seeing it animated is so cool. I think especially just because I love the story behind that whole thing of them just wanting like they only wanted maybe one or two animated episodes if they could get away with it. And now they have two seasons that are going to be dropping. I think there's a confirmed third season of that same thing, and a separate animated series about their other campaign, Mighty Nine. And it's just like so wild. That I'm like, that's where good storytelling gets you. That's where a good story and some compelling characters will get you.
All right, so you've said this before, but
Mhm.
I'm happy to see it again. All right, so who are you and where can we find you?
Yeah, so I'm cami-cat on YouTube, cami-cat doodles on my Instagram and my TikTok, and cami-cat tweets on Twitter. Possibly starting to stream on Twitch as well as cami-cat doodles, but we will see. Or cami-cat Twitch. I need to no up cami-cat doodles. I changed it recently. But yeah, so those are like the main places where you can find me.
Yeah, y'all here either listening in stream or on YouTube, definitely go check out Cami. Very sweet person. You give good
Thank
hugs.
you.
You're like super just comfortable person to be around.
Oh, that actually makes me feel very good. I have been told I intimidate people when I first meet them just because of the energy. So I very much appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, and this has been Catchy Chatter, and thanks everyone for watching and listening. Any last words? Alright, get hyped for dinner something. Alright.